Welcome back here in the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Soren Petro with you as we continue our coverage of the American Century Championships here in Lake Tahoe, Nevada. And joining us now, the ESPN NFL analyst, former head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, of the New York Jets, Herm Edwards, is with us on our Sprint guest line, or actually sitting right in front of me. Coach, how are you?
I am wonderful. I've played this is 4 days of golf for me.
Really? That's a lot of golf.
And the tournament hadn't even started yet.
I know.
So you can imagine how I'm feeling about golf right now.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
Yes. You got to be feeling real good about your chances.
I don't have to look at that. Doesn't bother me. People say, you know what your chances are? I said, yeah, they're not very good. They're probably real bad. I don't care.
Coach, they've got you at 2,000 to 1.
Perfect.
That puts you in a tie for 78th best chance to win this.
I love it. That's right where I should be.
That's right. Really?
Doesn't bother me one bit.
So how much will you wager on yourself?
I won't wager a dime. I don't bet. I only have a $2 bet going. That's my limit.
$2?
I carry $2 bills in my pocket when I bet people.
$2 will get you 4,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I won't bet on myself.
No,
not in golf.
Not in golf.
I know, but I'm smarter than that.
Okay, other things, yes.
Yeah, $2 bet on other things, yeah, but golf, no.
No, not on golf. Okay, we got a lot going on in the football world, in our neck of the woods. I mean, you know, I posed this question yesterday when I was talking to Adam Teicher, and I said, look, it's not been a good offseason for the Chiefs. You know, there's no way to put lipstick on that pig. You're not supposed to be firing your GM at that point, particularly when your second in command was hired away by the Colts and you double back. Now, look, Brett Veach may be the next great young general manager. Yeah, that's certainly there. You still have Andy Reid. That's a great place to start. There's still a lot of talent. That's all good. But it's been a bad offseason. Well, can that carry over? I mean, they're not 0-7 because they didn't do things in the right order. Right? So everyone's all worried about it. The Raiders are the darling of the offseason.
Sure.
Everybody loves that,
sure.
but they're not 7-0 because of their offseason. So how much of a distraction or a problem can the kind of offseason that the Chiefs had actually be?
Well, it can be a problem if you don't have a veteran head coach.
Okay.
But they have a veteran head coach. And they have a man in Andy Reid that they trust, and they know that right now they're the best team in the division. They have been the last couple seasons. When you look at their division record compared to the opponents, they're 11-1, and the Raiders and the Denver Broncos are 6-6, and the San Diego Chargers are 1-11.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you can't live off your laurels. I understand that, but they feel like, you know what, we have people in place, we can still win this division, and they truly believe that now.
Right.
They lost a couple players. Jeremy Maclin was at a big hit. We'll find out. You know, they want to get obviously Hill more involved in the offense. Got a fabulous tight end. They draft a couple running backs. This kid Hunt, I think they like. You know, offensive line is good, solid offensive line. And they got Alex Smith, a guy that knows how to win. That's what he does. He wins. He wins a lot of football games. So I think if you're their team as a player, you're not worried about what happened to them.
Not at all. The problems at an ownership or general manager level do not make their way into the locker room?
No. In this situation for Andy, it's more of the players going, whoa, we know who has the power in this organization.
Okay.
It's the head coach.
So Andy Reid, so that's what it says to you, obviously.
Well, I'm just to the head coach. Look, he gets a 5-year deal. He hires a guy that he hired 10 years ago, who's his GM. Well, who's running the show?
I agree.
Andy Reid.
I agree.
And so every player understands that. They go, hey, this is Andy's deal. We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it possible that Jeremy Maclin happened to be cut? Now, listen, he's cut because other guys are getting paid.
Yes.
It's not like, he was cut for cap reasons, not because they're cheap. They had to cut somebody, and it ended up being Maclin. But can that be a problem in the locker room?
Well, it can be a problem in the fact that if you don't manage it correctly. But this is a problem with the cap, and who knows what went on with this. There's going to be a point when you have a pretty good football team where you can't keep all your players. That's how the league is structured, by the way, okay? And most organizations, the smart ones, they realize when you draft the draft class, they're on 4-year deals. By your second season, I always used to tell coaches, I said, do we like this guy? Yeah, coach. Okay. We sure? Yeah, coach. Well, let's give him a bite of the apple then.
Yeah.
Before he gets out of his deal, because now we can keep him maybe for 6 years.
Right.
Rather than 4 years, and we've got 4 guys like that. We can't keep them all. Well, let's some of them might want to do a little something here.
Right.
So now they got to want to do it. You got to have a partner to dance with. But a lot of organizations, that was always my mindset in my organizations that I was involved in. Let's pay this guy a little bit more because we got some extra money. Let's do it now rather than to wait and maybe lose 2 of them and we can keep 4 of them for the next 6 years.
You said there, and I think we would all generally agree, certainly, I don't think Andy Reid's going out on scouting trips in the middle of the week, right? So he's not doing that part of the GM job.
No.
But when it comes down to this guy or that guy, it certainly looks like he's going to have the hammer now. How much of the GM role? And Andy Reid carried the title of president of football operations and head coach in Philadelphia for 12 years. There's debate as to whether or not he had personnel say his last 2 years. For the 10 years, we know that he had both. He won 101 games, 5 conference titles, and lost 1 Super Bowl.
Right.
That was a pretty successful run.
Exactly.
He knew how to balance it then.
Yes.
Is it but the perception now with most, other than Bill Belichick, is coach over here, GM over there.
Right.
It's too much for one guy to handle.
Yeah.
Is it too much for one guy to handle in the game today?
No, Andy has proven he's handled it before, and what's great about the kid that he hired is a guy that knows exactly what Andy wants. He doesn't have to worry about personnel moves or the type of players Andy needs in his system to flourish. He doesn't have to worry about what kind of players Andy likes to draft. This kid who's been a part of the process and watched it work for 10 years. So there's not a hiccup where you're trying to introduce yourself to a GM coming from some other organization where he's going, this is how we do it. We got to blend this together. No. Hey, I've been working for Andy. I get it. I know what he wants.
Yeah.
So all I got to do is just continue to do what I've been doing.
And in reality, they had no choice but to hire this kid, right? I mean, they had to go through the process because there's the Rooney Rule. Mm-hmm. And so they had to go do their interviews and due diligence.
Right.
But in reality, there was one candidate and one candidate only.
Sure.
It was this guy, right?
No doubt. Because he's Andy's guy, and there's no transition. The transition's already been made. The guy's been in the system for 10 years.
Yes. And so
it's seamless.
Right.
Right? No one has to go, how does he think? No, I know what Andy wants. I'm good.
Okay. Now, you're on the media side now.
Sure.
So let me ask you this. One of the things that I think has been a big misstep for the Chiefs, they did not hold a press conference when they let go of John Dorsey, when they agreed to part ways, okay?
Andy was out of town.
And look, and if Clark Hunt says the general manager reports to me, the coach reports to me, I don't know that Andy Reid even has to be there. But the owner should have a press conference. I think, now I want your opinion on this, they announced a GM hire. They did not have a press conference. They're going to wait for 2 weeks. Look, at the end of the day, go 16-0, no one's going to care.
Right.
It's irrelevant.
Right.
But is that bad business? Is that bad business for the owner to not be there answering the questions for the fans as to why it didn't work with the GM and why it's going to work with this guy? And doesn't it? And look, it's got. And in fact, were you in KC when Dayton Moore was hired as the general manager of the Royals?
Yeah, I might have been.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
And the Royals did that. They let go of Howard Baird, didn't have a press conference. Hired Dayton Moore, had a press conference, and it was a disaster. It was everybody asking about, why'd you fire this guy? What are you doing? Where are you going to spend the money? Here's Dayton Moore, who has nothing to do with that.
Right.
Is forced to sit there and listen to all those questions. This, to me, and that's the experience I come from, is a giant tactical mistake by Clark Hunt.
Well, I think this. It could be, unless they do it this way, and I think they probably will do it this way, is that all 3 of them will be there when they decide to do it.
Okay.
And so they'll all be well aware of what's about to happen, so they can all sit there. And any question that's uncomfortable, there'll be a lead guy to answer the question. It'll probably be Andy Reid.
So is this a lot of great talk show fodder for a guy like me, but absolutely irrelevant in the big picture?
Yeah, because it's not going to affect the organization one bit. It's not going to affect the football team. Players don't care. Fans don't care. Because the time they do have this press conference, when they do, guess what? They'll be in training camp.
Yeah.
And people say it's football.
Yeah.
Why are we even talking about that?
Well, I think Clark Hunt is going to have a press conference in Kansas City, and 4.5 later in St. Joe, Andy Reid is having a press conference.
Yeah. See,
so, yeah, they'll separate
they got
it out.
the thing figured out.
All right, so how hard is it for Andy Reid to do the personnel part while he's coaching? Or is it literally just
Andy won't have to do a lot as far as, like, looking for players when the season starts. He's got a guy in place.
But doesn't it put him back into the middle of the contract negotiation part of the equation?
With the players?
If everybody knows he's the guy, and you're not getting paid, then there's a frustration with the coach. Like, to me, that's the beauty
Yeah.
of taking the coach out of that process.
Yeah, but I think at the end, the players know that if you're one of Andy's guys, he's going to do his best to take care of you.
Okay.
That didn't work out for Macklin, obviously. But then again, Macklin didn't help himself because he wasn't very productive.
Right.
See, and that's the problem. I mean, when you become an older player and you get a big bite of the apple, you're year to year now. The stats better be equal the money that you just got paid, because if not, as a player, guess what? They got to cut some guys. Could be me.
Yeah.
Or they're going to ask for a pay cut, and it's just like, what are you going to do? So, I mean, that's the problem with that.
Yeah. We're talking to Herm Edwards here in the program. Does the way you cut somebody, can that affect the clubhouse? Yeah, a lot's been made of Jeremy Macklin got it on a voicemail.
Yeah, that's not good, and you never like that, a veteran guy. But sometimes, because of the circumstances where you're at, I mean, you like to handle that a lot better than that, But sometimes because you're under the situation where time is not in your favor, where you got to make a decision because you got to get this done at a certain date. Hey, sometimes this doesn't work, and you got to call the guys. Hey, man, I'm sorry we couldn't get you in here, and whatever. But this is what we got. But I would have called him on the phone.
Right.
I think.
Well, they did, but
yeah.
but he was supposedly in the air, and they left him the message.
Yeah, but still, I would have waited. I wanted to talk to him.
Okay.
I would have talked to him. I would have waited till I personally got to talk to him. Now, but the problem is you can't hold anything anymore.
Right.
Everything's out there.
And that's, yes, and that is the.
And I think you got to call the agent and say, hey, look, this is what we're about to do. Then I want to call the kid. So at least you and the agent are good, because here's the problem. You're going to deal with that agent again because he's going to have other players.
Right.
And so you want to make sure it's okay. It's the first thing you got to do. I always told Coach, look, the management people, look, make sure we call the agent because he's got 5 more players.
Right.
He's got some guys from other teams now. We got to make sure that relationship is always good, and then we need to get a hold of the player.
Right.
And if I want to talk to the player too, so that's on my plate too. I want to talk to the guy. So I think that's how it's got to work.
One of the things, I've heard people, they're frustrated. There's been some talk about how Macklin was let go, and then Jamal Charles. The Chiefs didn't even try to renegotiate with Jamal Charles. Look, I remember you took over a roster when you came to Kansas City that was aging and overpriced and had cap issues, and you were really handcuffed. And you kind of worked miracles that first year in 2006 to keep the roster together. And the organization probably should have torn it down right away.
Yes.
To do it back over, you should have been like, new coach, new process, let's reboot.
Right. But they still felt like, and I said something, look, we can make a run at this, right? And the sad thing about it, Trent got hurt early. But he came back at the end. But so we get into playoffs. But they knew we got to go in a different direction.
Right. And it was what it was. So my point is learning from that. And I remember the organization during that time was talking about, well, we got to get to be like the Steelers and Eagles.
Right.
Those are the two teams out here. They're a year early getting out from under a bad contract rather than a year late.
Right.
Now here we sit. To me, that's what the Chiefs did this year. They got out from under the Macklin contract. You can't pay Jamal Charles. You paid him 1 year to rehab. You can't go another year at 6 or 7, or even bring him down to the $3.5 million the Broncos got.
And he's a running back.
Those are smart decisions, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't pay a 30-year-old running back.
Or at least necessary decisions. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
Right. Those are decisions of doing, if you want to keep your cap in order, because now what's good for them, they got a quarterback that's got a contract, okay? They got drafted a young guy.
Right.
So now this guy's got a while to develop. They don't have to pay that guy for a long time. So that saves a lot of money. This is what I've always said about our league. Our league is naive. And I know why they do it. Because it helps other teams when people are over the cap. They can get players.
Yeah.
But I said if you truly want to do it right for the player as well as the team that has that player, you should have one designated player on your roster that doesn't count on the cap.
Okay.
So let's say it's player A, and you're going to pay him whatever money you want to pay him because he's your star. He don't count. So you get to keep your guy. You get to keep that guy. And he don't count.
Yeah, but wouldn't that just be the quarterback everywhere?
Maybe, and maybe not. You'd want it to be the quarterback, but let's just say it's the runner and you don't have a quarterback. Say, hey, man, this guy ain't leaving. I got to pay this guy. But so now you pay him, and guess what? And if you want to go out and still get a quarterback, you can.
Yeah, well.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, why don't we do it? It would make it more simpler. It was like, hey, now guys could actually stay on the team. Now you could pay Tom Brady. No, he wouldn't have to take a discount.
Who, Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
Or Tom Brady, okay. Well, come on.
Or listen, here's another one. Or Drew Brees. Drew Brees didn't take a discount. And because of that,
it wrecked their cap. And yes, absolutely.
Now he's your guy.
Yes. But realistically, we all know that there's an account in the Cayman Islands that clearly Tom Brady is getting paid for.
Oh, it's Captain America. You know. He's a different guy. I mean, he's Captain America.
You don't want to hear my theories about how the Patriots are going to funnel money through a Swiss bank account or, an account in the Caymans? You don't like that theory?
His wife has more money than anybody.
Well, I know she does, but he's still an intense competitor, right? And those guys keep score by Super Bowl and by paycheck.
He's fine.
Okay. I agree.
He'll be okay.
Okay, I agree. Chiefs at some point are going to have to make a transition to a younger quarterback. Yeah. The cap says, because they're up against next year's cap already, and there's a draft class still to be added to that mix. So in reality, they're over next year's cap already. Either Justin Houston or Alex Smith are going to have to really change what they make, or one of them's going to have to be gone. Can you draft a quarterback and get him ready to go? A quarterback that everybody says is very raw. Right, that's the thing. And even Andy Reid has said the kid's raw. Right. Can you get him ready to go in a year? Because you made a very good point. The best window to win a Super Bowl is before your quarterback really gets paid. Joe Flacco wasn't getting paid when the Ravens got it done. Russell Wilson wasn't getting paid when the Seahawks got it done. Right. Particularly if you're not going to have that Hall of Fame guy. Right. That's the best chance. Win before your quarterback gets the big check. Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh wasn't getting paid when he won his first Super Bowl. In fact, I think whatever. But you get the point.
Yes.
So to maximize your window of opportunity, you need him to start as fast as possible.
You do.
Can they get him ready in a year?
It'll be interesting. I don't know if he's ready in a year. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard.
You don't know, or you don't think so? It sounds like you're saying I don't know in a very pessimistic tone.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's too much for the kid. Okay. And I could be dead wrong.
And why? Why would it be more? Because everybody, they talk about the offense he came from and that nobody's ever made it from that offense.
Yeah, and Ches his what he's been asked to do compared to what he's going to be asked to do in Andy's offense.
Okay.
And now Andy can tweak it and all that, but it's hey, man, it's not, people are a little get upset anyway at his offense, and because Alex Smith's not this guy's going to throw for 35 touchdown passes. All he does is win, and it's okay when you win, but then when you lose against teams, and because we don't throw enough touchdown passes.
You've said that a couple of times. He does a great job of winning regular season games.
Yes.
He has not done a great job of winning postseason games,
which is a whole different story because that's a whole different level. We get that
1-3 as a starter there,
and the problem is, who is he playing against? Well, he's playing against elite quarterbacks.
Yeah,
and that's what gets you. At
and
the
one
end.
time he didn't, he won.
Yes, and that's what gets you at the end, and that's what happens in the playoffs when you play against the elite guys. If your guy isn't a guy that when he walks in the stadium, you already got 14 points. Look, I've always said this: there's 5 or 6 guys in the league. If you look at the history of their careers, at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Brady, the Mannings, when you look at their career and you break it down, it says something. This is very glaring to me. In the course of a year, they're going to throw anywhere between 35 and 40 touchdown passes. Okay. So what does that mean? That means before the game starts, before the season starts, every time you get off the bus, I got 14 points.
Yeah.
Because who the quarterback is.
Yes.
Now, most teams don't have that guy.
Yes.
So you have the luxury of playing with the lead before the game starts because I have that guy.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. And that's the problem.
And you should do everything you possibly can
to keep him.
to find that guy when you don't have him.
Exactly.
And so how much is the physical arm talent that Pat Mahomes has?
He got talent.
He's got that.
Well,
and how much of the battle is that? 10%, 80%, 90%?
The physical talent, it's sitting a little stares you in the face every day. It's just the mental part of it. How much can he process of what he's asked to do, and how much is Andy willing to bring in the play calling and bring in what he's asked to do? Because he's a guy, his first couple years, similar to what we saw Russell Wilson, what we saw Griffin, what we saw in Cam Newton, those kind of athletic guys that can run. He can get away with running early, where you can design some things where the pocket moves where he's comfortable. But eventually, if he wants a long career and you want an offense that's consistent, he's got to play within the framework of the tackles, because that's where the great quarterbacks play. That's where all the great plays are made at the end.
Yeah.
And when it gets combative and things are flying around him, that he doesn't bolt out of there where he just sits in there and goes, okay, I'll slide up here and I'll slide over here and bam, I'll throw it. You know, the guys that are athletic, they see it and they take off and run. Well, that's good first couple years until you start getting beat up, and then all of a sudden you go, hey, man, we're not paying you to run. We're not paying you $15 million a year to run.
When you watch Alex Smith,
yes,
and you talk about he doesn't throw a lot of touchdown passes, and you've obviously studied a lot of game tape over the years, and you see what he's doing. Is that because he doesn't have the arm talent to thread needles in the end zone in that short range of where Aaron Rodgers piles up touchdown passes in the 1 to 14-yard range? The people would be stunned to see how many of his touchdowns are in that range. Alex Smith does not have those.
Well, and Alex Smith is the type of guy, and he learned early in his career, he's a quarterback willing to take a profit. I'll take the profit. I'll keep the chains moving because that's how we function. Because I got a defense over there that's going to give me an extra 2 possessions probably a game because they're going to take the ball away. Now, what he has to do, he has to get better in situations as far as when they're in the attack mode of, okay, here we are, we're in the red zone. They got a terrific tight end. Okay, we got to score in there. That's what's interesting to me because they got this tight end, okay? They got Conley, who's a big guy, you know. Hill is a guy, he's the joker. They can move him around. But if you take Conley away, or excuse me, Kelsey away, who do you throw to in the red zone? See, and no one says that, but Alex Smith is going, well, who do I throw the ball to here? Because there's nobody here that basically can jump up and catch it.
Yeah, just go win a jump ball.
Right?
Right.
So all of a sudden the percentage of that going, no, I'm taking the profit, I'm dumping it off. I'm not chancing turning this ball over because I'll take 3 before I throw an interception. So, we could blame it all on him. But I'm like, hey, when you take Kelsey away, what big guy? Conley, yeah, he's big, but do you trust him all the time?
Do teams really take Kelsey away, or do they not throw him the ball?
Well,
probably a little bit of both, right?
Well, he had 117 targets.
But not in the end zone.
Well, and there are a lot of reasons for that because that's where guys are leaning. They're going to lean that way and say, hey, man, make them beat you with Hill. Hill can beat you sideways and in the seam. Yeah, but vertically, you can't find him. He's little.
He's more of a beat you from distance.
Yes.
And I get it. Close range, you need a bigger, more physical wide receiver.
And you look at our league, that's what it is. Because when the field shrinks, and I say this is a little defensive coach and a defensive player, the odds of the defense are better because there's no vertical threat. The only threat you have is of a guy that can jump now.
Right.
And this is why you see defenses all of a sudden, they're bigger. They're getting bigger corners because the jump ball, the back shoulder throw was not a part of football when I was in the league. It's a part of football now.
Yeah.
And so you got to get bigger guys. So you look at secondaries now, they're getting taller. Why? Because the ball is being played up here like basketball anymore.
Right.
And so if you don't have a couple of those guys, what does the quarterback find a guy to throw to?
I hear you. Trust me, it is the riddle.
Yes.
It is the riddle that's trying to be uncovered.
Yeah.
We're talking to Herm Edwards from ESPN. Herm, time for my final four quickies.
All
right. You know how it works. Who's your Super Bowl pick right now?
Over who? Captain America.
New England over who?
Oh, let's say Green Bay.
New England over Green Bay. Yeah, I've been firing that one for a while, and it hasn't come through yet. But we'll see. I like.
And maybe not. Maybe Green Bay might win, but we'll say Captain America until you beat him. He's still Captain America.
Okay. All right. Did you see your jersey out here? There's a guy wearing.
I saw my guy. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, there was 2 guys actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How nice is that jersey? That old Eagles one. Isn't that a beautiful jersey?
You know what? You find out about those jerseys too, and you find out about our uniforms. Those things were heavy, man.
Were they really?
They were heavy. Back in the day, man. I mean, come on, the jerseys were heavy.
What was it? Was it the light fast?
Yeah. The shoulder pads were big. Everybody looked like linebackers.
Yeah. Have you ever been in Lake Tahoe? In the water?
In that water?
Yes.
No, not even looking for a golf ball, no.
No? Okay. All right, you should try it sometime.
I heard it's nice. Yeah.
It is. It's very nice.
I don't do boats. I don't think when things leave the shore, I'm like, bye-bye. See you later. I'll stay around late.
Okay, and finally, do you play to win the tournament?
No. Here's why I come here. The camaraderie of the players. This is my way of paying back to all the fans that have watched me coach and play in the history of my career to sign autographs, to take pictures, and have conversations with them. This is why I'm here. This is the only and it's the only reason that the golf doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
I want to play better, but at the end, I play like this every year when I get up here. Now I can go home the next day and play pretty good, but up here I don't play good. It's okay.
We will let you get back to the autographs and the pictures and the fans, Coach. Always great talking to you. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Great weekend.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.